In this video we are going to transform Leo, my cheap E39 528i, from a car that stood underneath a tree for 1.5 years into one of the nicest E39s around. And thanks to Korrosionsschutz-Depot, we are also able to refresh the complete undercoating and make it even better than out of the factory. Can somebody please help me down?
Well, why am I doing this? Isn't it just a cheap BMW? Well, this is not only about the car. It's me trying to give everything to make myself and the pre-owner proud.
So, let's do this.
So Leo is so dirty. We need to clean him.
And we're starting with the engine bay.
Since this is a mouse-infested car, I just wanted to quickly give it a shower because I didn't want to touch it any further. And before this point, it was just too cold to clean the car because it was freezing. But then we discovered something.
Can you see that here? It looks like the car got repainted in this area here. How about in here? Got repainted at some time. Oh, not good.
But hey, what can you expect from a 29-year-old car? And to not rub the dirt into the paint, I'm just taking the sponge and squish it out. And right after that I'm using a high pressure washer and some water. And now it is 2 months later, where we already have put in the engine we've rebuilt in the last video.
I want to remove Leo's shoes, especially to clean them. And also we need to swap out all of the brake parts.
One wheel successfully removed. And now take a look at the brakes. They seem to be fine, but still, we got some new ones. And the reason for why I'm replacing these brakes now, before ripping the car apart again, is just because of looks. And we also need to replace 2 control arms, and here they are. And now, in the rear, we're gonna remove all of the brake parts.
Goodbye. Whoa, these brakes look actually pretty good. Whoops.
Yeah, they still have some life left in them, but I want to replace all of it. Removing the brake caliper bracket.
Okay, this is easy. Wow. Whoever did these brakes really did a great job. Did we release the parking brake? No, we didn't.
The handbrake shoes sit inside of the brake disc, and we would risk damaging anything if we're gonna remove the disc like that.
But in there, it looks pretty fine.
So now we're gonna remove the control arm.
Yay! Ja, cool.
And we got it out. Since we're putting in new shiny brakes, I decided to give everything a quick clean. And don't worry, in this bottle isn't a dog stop. In there is just automotive shampoo. And it looks so much better. Let's install the new control arm.
Finger tight for now, because we need to tighten it once the car is on the ground. But here we can fully tighten it because it's a ball joint.
Rubber bushings are tightened when the car is at right height.
Removing the wheel. Give me that wheel. Hi.
And also here in the front, we're removing all of the brake parts to replace them later on in this video.
These brake calipers are so light because they are out of aluminium. Brake caliper bracket out. Need a hammer on my foot. No, a hammer. Goodbye. One side brake's removed. Actually, all sides are now removed.
And here are the other 3 arches we haven't cleaned yet. They are so dirty. So, you know, let's clean them. So here we're using some compressed air to blow out all of the dirt. Then we're gonna put on some chemicals, brush it all away and rinse it with water. And also on this side we're installing the rear control arm after cleaning. But, of course, we had to find something.
Oh no, guys, I found one rust hole. It doesn't matter, to be honest, because it's not much, but it's annoying me quite a bit.
Okay, that's bad news. But here are the good news. The arches look now so much cleaner. Now we're gonna clean the wheel hub
some anti-seize, just on the ring, not on the surface. New brake disc, 8 Newton meters. Perfect.
Time to install the brake caliper bracket.
65 Newton meters.
On the bottom bolt we can't use a torque wrench.
Okay, should be enough.
There's simply not enough space for it.
Okay, perfect.
And here we're doing the same thing to the front brakes. It now looks so much better. But we're gonna leave it like that because I do have some plans with the calipers in the next video.
Here's the rust spot, and we're now gonna grind down all of the Underseal here to make sure that there is no rust underneath here.
So let's clean off all of the Underseal from the surroundings. And we are doing the exact same thing on the other spot too, just to remove all of the rust.
We need to remove some plastic. Yay, I like that. Okay, nice.
So basically we need to remove the carpet to be able to weld the hole shut, grinding away the paint and rust.
This just gives me huge flashbacks. I don't want to do this again, but I have to.
Welding time. And honestly, it looks pretty fine. Now it is time to clean the wheels. Honestly, they have so much brake dust caked on them. So we're gonna use some alloy wheel cleaner, leave it a bit on and spray it down with some water. And hopefully we can make them shiny again. And now after we had some shiny rims, brakes and wheel wells, it bothered me that the outside was still full of dirt.
Let's clean the whole outside of this car, of Leo.
And first off, we're gonna vacuum all of the dirt that is underneath the boot lid. Then use some automotive shampoo and a toothbrush to get away all of the dirt. And of course we need to rinse this all off with water. And remove the unicorn sticker.
Goodbye.
So there's still a few spots where we haven't cleaned yet. So let's do that.
Now we have a little bit of a project with Leo. We just have to remove all of the Underseal. And when I say all of the Underseal, I mean all of it. I'm so happy about that we got sponsored from Korrosionsschutz-Depot with these chemicals and also with this pistol here. So we can really transform Leo, and link to Korrosionsschutz-Depot is down in the video description.
So let's take a last good look underneath of Leo, because he will never look the same ever again. Honestly, for a 29-year-old car, he looks pretty good. But we will make him look like a brand new car again.
At first we have to remove the exhaust again.
Removing a few bolts in the front, in the middle and also in the back of the exhaust, and out it comes.
Next up, we need to loosen the handbrake cables. Perfect. So we just loosen these two and then we can take them out.
And we are doing that because I want to take out the rear subframe. Not right now, but later in this video.
So disconnecting the brake line here. Good.
Removing the heat shield.
Let's see how much dirt is coming out of here. Ooh, yeah. Okay, not that much. Removing the handbrake lines. And you. We also need to remove you. But oh my god, this metal here looks so much better than on the other car.
And now we're disconnecting everything from the engine to make sure it can come out.
Nice.
And now it is time. Unbolting all of the bolts that hold in the front subframe and the gearbox. The same goes for the front suspension struts, and then the whole subframe can come out. The AC compressor gave us really a fight, but eventually, after a couple of minutes, we got it out.
I'm feeling like threatened.
So, well, let's just remove the wheel arch liners in the front.
Nice. I always hated these clips because they didn't want to go out, but on Leo it was pretty easy. Oh, there's in here.
Well, this is 29-year-old dirt and grime, so what can you expect? But other than that, honestly, it looks almost perfect.
Oh, nice. Thank you very much, Leo.
Let's remove the rest of the plastic covers.
Ooh, yeah. We have a bit of rust here. Yay. So, what do we have here? No. Not again. Rusty sill. Why did I even remove it? I haven't seen it before, but I had to remove it, right? Oh gosh.
I need to do something else. So let's just remove the rear wheel arch liners. Therefore, we need to take out all of the plastic nuts and also the plastic clips. And then we can take it out.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Take a look at this. It's perfect.
And now we're doing the exact same thing on the other side too.
Nice.
And honestly, for a 29-year-old car, it looks so good. But we're gonna make it even better in this video. And now it is time. Time to unbolt the rear subframe, which is held in by 4 bolts. And now it can come out. It's time to start the dirty work, removing all of the Underseal. And after a couple of minutes removing the Underseal, we need to do something else. So therefore we remove the rear bumper.
So my next step is to remove the fuel tank, all of the fuel lines, and actually also all of the brake lines. This is gonna take a while.
So let's just focus on the bolts for now, I guess. Removing the 2 fuel tank straps, then disconnecting all of the fuel lines that go to the fuel tank, lowering the car, removing the 2 leftover bolts, and then we can lift out the fuel tank. But then we found a problem.
I just found something on Leo that is really terrifying, to be honest. And I already had the same problem on my other E39. And in my opinion, this could be really, really dangerous. Take a look at this here. The coilover at the bottom is just cracked. And not only on this side, also on the other side. It's starting to crack here. So think about that. If you're driving on the highway, drive over a bump, and then suddenly the rear coilover housing cracks apart and you have no suspension in the back anymore and your car just slams on the ground. This is really dangerous.
And for the next couple of weeks, we're not doing anything else but removing Underseal. But then I had a breakthrough.
Oh my god, guys, I've just found the easiest way to remove this underbody protection. Just a razor blade. Nice. And if you're making it warm before that, just a bit, it's working even better. It's going off so easy.
Still, it is a lot of work. But with this new method, we really made some good progress. And now we have to remove something again, the rear brake lines. Since I can't get off the nut, we need to cut them.
Okay.
And of course, after the brake lines, we need to remove the fuel lines. And these lines are for the fuel evaporate system.
Now we need to remove you. God, why are you coming out like that? But nice, it is out. And I've catched it.
And here we're snipping all of the rubber fuel lines, because we're gonna replace them anyways.
This is still the original filter.
Leo, stop taking a wee in front of the camera.
Goodbye. Yeah. Number 2 off, I don't care. Now we're able to remove all the Underseal hair. Nice.
Next up, we need to remove the 2 fenders because I don't want to damage them when we're removing the Underseal in the arches. And therefore we have to remove a few bolts on the top, on the bottom and in the front. And after that we can take them out.
Okay. Next up, we're gonna remove the headlights.
And they're just held in by 4 bolts.
Oh, Leo loses his eye. I'm sorry, Leo.
Under protection removal time again. And we also need to get rid of the cable grease in the transmission tunnel we have sprayed on in the last video.
For all of these parts where I can't get to with the machine, I've just ground down a screwdriver. Now it's sharp at the tip and we can go into the smallest edges and just scrape it all away. And heat helps pretty much with that.
And next up, we need to remove the 2 rear suspension struts. And therefore we need to take apart the interior.
Yeah. Just give it a good pull. Sometimes really helps. Now we are removing the suspension strut. Okay. It's a boy! It's a boy! Those who remember, props to you.
Scuffing up all of these surfaces for the colorless. But now we are finally able to put on some rust-stopping primer, aka the colorless. And this step alone will completely transform Leo's underbody.
We are going to put in the 2.5mm nozzle in the spray gun because the colorless is way too thick for the 1.5mm nozzle. Basically you have to use the 2.5mm nozzle, which is also in the kit of the spray gun. So now I have degreased everything, every little spot. And now we're gonna put in some colorless and 15 to 25% of Nitroverdünnung.
Which is a lacquer thinner.
Okay.
And stir it pretty good. Now we're using a maximum of 4.5 bar to paint on the colorless. As said before, colorless is a rust-stopping primer. It also helps prevent future rust, but only if the damage isn't too severe. I've been using this stuff in the past and I've never been disappointed. And honestly, this car now looks so good underneath. I kinda like this red color.
Honestly, this car looks so funny in red underneath. So my plan now is to clean up all of the wheel wells, fix the rust hole in the sill, paint the sill, then the wheel wells, and after that I'm gonna coat the entire underbody once more with colorless. Unfortunately my compressor isn't working anymore, so I had really problems with spraying that on yesterday. This gauge shows that we have 7 bars, but we don't have anything in here. This gauge just goes to 4 bars and then it does nothing anymore. So I don't really know how much bar we get out of this line here. So this compressor is unusable in this state because I just can't control how much air is coming out of here. Unfortunately, I can't do anything with the old compressor. Wow, this is heavy. So I got myself a new one. I actually got the old compressor from my grandpa, so I'm very sorry that I can't use it anymore, but at the same time I'm also pretty happy that we have a new one that works perfectly. Oh my god, you're a big boy. Something to read on the toilet.
Time to remove the rest of the Underseal out of the arches. And here we are removing the rest of the plastic trims.
Come on, give me that.
And also the front bumper.
Okay.
And take a look at these arches. All of the Underseal there is removed. So let's paint on some Korrosionsschutz.
Guys, we have finally treated almost all of the underbody. We have treated almost all of the wheel arches with the first layer. So, and the next step is we need to fix that massive hole in here.
So now take a look at these rust spots. They look very nasty, honestly.
First we're gonna remove this here. Okay, great. Well, the sill around the checking point is also rusted. It's not rusted through. The metal there is still a little bit solid, but it's just a matter of time till it is rusted through. Okay, here we can see the spot where we went in. So we have to remove it here. So then here, more in the front here, you can also see the rust.
So let's remove all of the underside protection first to see how big the damage really is.
So I think we're gonna cut here alongside the edge here, then here and here, just a bit before here.
So let's cut all of these rusty pieces out of the car. And after cutting and sandblasting, it looks like this. We blasted away a lot of paint during the sandblasting, so therefore we put on some Korrosionsschutz. And we are also taking this opportunity to paint all of the rest of the arches with a paintbrush.
Here we have some new metal. Yeah.
So let's trace our templates and then cut them out. And then grind them down to make them fit 100%. Time for some weld-through primer on our new panels.
Well, this work just reminds me of my other E39, Project Phoenix. Except the other project was way rustier and way worse than this car, than Leo.
Scuffing up the surface of our new panel, cleaning it, And then we're putting on 2 layers of weld-through primer. Finally, it is time to weld it on. And here we're basically just welding one spot and then blowing compressed air onto the panel to make sure to not get too much heat into it, because if it gets too hot, it could warp. And here is how it looks after grinding down all of the welds. And here's the checking point from the co-driver side. Honestly, it does not look too bad. So we just sandblasted all of the areas and now we're looking fine again.
I'm finally finished with welding, and hopefully this was the last welding job on Leo. I really hope so, because I don't like welding, to be honest. I really tried my best here. I know a professional would do that so much more beautiful, but it is sturdy, and when we paint over it, it won't rust again and we won't have any problems with it. At least I hope so.
So let's just remove all of the Underseal from the rocker panels.
Finally again! Leo flies again.
So let's continue removing all of the Underseal from the rocker panels. And now it is time for the rear checking points. And now take a good look at this. These rear checking points are rust free. This is so uncommon for E39s because they always rust.
Fortunately, we don't have to weld the rear checking points on Leo. I'm so happy about that, because I don't want to weld anymore on this car and I really don't want to trim anything out again. So we're just gonna sandblast them. I'm actually so relieved.
Nevertheless, we removed the paint and sandblasted it also, because there was just a little layer of paint inside and I wanted to get rid of it. And a huge thanks to my dad for helping me remove the hood. So now we're gonna remove all of the paint from the chassis rails in the front. Time to put on some Korrosionsschutz on the front chassis rails and also on the rocker panels. And we're also spraying on some Korrosionsschutz on the rear checking points.
We are gonna spray now the second layer of Korrosionsschutz.
Finally, the second layer. This was such a great moment for us, because this means the majority of the work is done. I've dreamed about restoring the whole undercarriage for such a long time. Now we're finally doing it. And honestly, it looks so nice now.
Well, we now need to let that dry till tomorrow, because we already waited 20 hours, about 20 hours, but it is still not dry in some spots, which is fine, but I want to really let that dry, and after that we need to seam seal everything. But after that we can finally put on some Korrosionsschutz, or Korrosionsschutz. Yeah, nice. Put on some seam sealer everywhere. And I really try to make it beautiful.
I'm just putting on the seam sealer on the factory locations. And after letting it dry for about 2 to 3 days, we're finally ready.
Yeah, we are ready! After spending so much time putting on this red stuff, the Korrosionsschutz, and getting everything off the car, we now seam sealed the whole car, we have put on some Korrosionsschutz, and now it is time for some Korrosionsschutz. So, let's open the bottle. Yeah. I've cleaned up this piece of wood and we're gonna stir it now. Oh yeah, oh my god.
So let's just pour some Pranto Korox into the spray gun, and we are also putting in some Nitroverdünnung, and here again 15 to 25% is acceptable. Pranto Korox 3-in-1 is a tough, oil-resistant coating used on ships, oil rigs, machines, trucks, cars, and even children's toys. In our case, it protects the underbody from stone chips, rain and salt. You can apply it with a brush, paint roller or spray gun while applying at least 2 coats.
It's now 3 hours later, time for the second layer. We now have used about 2 liters, I think, or 1.5 liters. No, 1.5 liters.
Normally you can spray on the second layer after 10 to 15 minutes, but I needed a break, and it doesn't matter when you're spraying on the second layer, after the 10 to 15 minutes passed, of course. And take a look at it again, it looks so great. But we are still not finished quite yet.
So let's open the last Pranto Korox bottle. We have not used the entire bottle from the other one, but we have a special surprise here. I've already cleaned this wood, mixed it up pretty good, stir it till the color is even. Perfect.
So, let's do this.
Korrosionsschutz-Depot offers this Pranto Korox in almost every color imaginable. So if you want to protect your car from the dreaded rust, click on the link in the description. Oh, and by the way, we are now on the second layer. So this is it. We have done it.
I'm so happy about that. It looks so cool. But now we're gonna remove all of the covers. Finally, after so much work, I think this was about 4 weeks worth of work.
But before I can show you now the end result, we need to do something else first.
And now we need to take the rear suspension and put it into Leo. It won't stay there for long because I just want to put Ronnie in, the other E39 528i.
And honestly, with the front and rear suspension attached to the car, it will look even better because I've cleaned both just a bit.
Oh my gosh, when this is fully cleaned, it's gonna look so nice.
And now take a look at this. Doesn't this look so much nicer than before? Honestly, I'm so happy about it. This took me about 200 hours to come to this stage. Still, I am so happy that we did it. And a huge thanks to Korrosionsschutz-Depot for supporting us along the way.
So, what do you think? I really love how this looks, and honestly, I'm so happy about it. Oh, we're gonna make this car so beautiful, and I'm so happy about that. This is actually pretty crazy because 1 year ago I've dreamed of doing that, and now I'm finally doing it. Or actually I did it.
But one question remains. Shall we take the headlights and taillights from my other E39 and put them into Leo? Please write it in the comments. I really don't know.